I think a lot of it comes from women and this whole hate thing. A lot of it comes from self-esteem. I think a lot of women, just like most men, have to reach a point in their lives where they are grown. You have to grow up eventually and have so much secure. There has to be so much security within that your whole purpose is to help. And a lot of these women aren't ready to help one another yet because they're still hurting inside from something that they have no idea where it comes from. It could be from a childhood situation. It could be from the way they were raised. I mean, most young girls probably get some of that energy from their mother. And so it could be trickled down. And if there wasn't an instilled confidence from this mother to say, sweetheart, it doesn't matter the situation, you are still a strong woman that deserves everything that you earn out here. And, they're waiting for someone to give them something, and then they may fear that this woman right here is trying to take something from me. There has to be some strength someplace in these women. A self-destructive nature. You can't live on that alone. You got to want to build, and a lot of them aren't ready to build. You got to build you first.
Is it the competition, or is it deeper than that?
It's deeper than that.
I think it's deeper
I
than
think
competition.
I think it's deep. Go ahead.
I think because, I've always said, I think a lot of our behavior goes all the way back to slavery and how we treated each other during slavery and how we were raised from generation to generation. And I think with black women, it may go back to then. And is it a protecting thing? I got to protect mine. I got to protect my space. I got to protect myself from even my own person, my own people, which is, black women. I think black men do the same thing in the sense that we build these walls and we call it the crab in the barrel thing, where we pull each other down. I think women have that same instinct to, everyone's trying to get that one cookie. And so if you're ahead of me at getting the cookie, I got to pull you back so I can get that cookie. So I can get in the house. I want to be in the house. I'm out here, picking cotton, and you in the house. And I think that whole dynamic is for real. I think it still affects us to this day. That women who were slaves were probably envious and jealous of the black woman that was in the house. And so it became that dynamic of, I want to be in the house. And he only picking 2 people. And it's 100 of us.
And on top of that, I think, just adding to what both of you said, when the key word you said was work and build, and then you were talking about being deeper than that, and it goes further back. I think the media has a huge part to play on the spirit. I think men create the environment and women nurture it often. And most, even if I've gone to foreign countries where it was desolate, if it was just rubble around, the women tried to nurture whatever existed. In this environment, it's the environment through the media is to get a PhD with stripper pole in your house. So some women try to make it happen. They try to, and I just think that what's very, very popular right now in the media is to not grow up. I think grown men think about tomorrow and the future, and I think little boys think about today. And I think black music in general, a lot of them mainstream music is, what we gonna do tonight? Let's hang out tonight. That's, I think, children, even if we hang with our children, or the little children want to know what's going on tonight. Grown men walk in the room, they start talking about tomorrow, what were the plans. And I think when that environment was gone, and you hear every time you turn on the radio and the music, it's just talking about little boys are talking. So when you have these little boys are talking, you don't have the opportunity to have grown women. You don't have, because now these women got to start hanging with these little boys thinking about today. And because grown men, the thing that blew me away about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama is they was living with his mother or her mother while he was running for governor. You got to think like a king to have a queen. She's hanging with a guy that's thinking about tomorrow. And I think a lot of the women today are only, the reason why they're so catty is because they've been programmed to search for guys that are consumed with right now. I think when you start getting grown, a lot more grown men walking in the room, you start getting a lot less little girls. You don't want to be a little girl. That's catty. If I'm 40 years old and I'm still spending my last dollar, I'm still wondering how she got a mink, how she got this. That's stuff little girls are thinking about.
Well, that's the next what we said.
That's stuff little girls are thinking about.
That women decide that they need to grow. And they need to build. Like Dex was saying about the cookie. You know, who says that you need to chase after that one cookie? Why not
Exactly.
bake all the cookies?
Exactly.
And that comes from just being a group. You know,
Exactly.
women. There are a lot of women out here who build and they realize they can't do it on their own. But that's
Period.
when they separate themselves from
Exactly.
that. I'm
little
isolated.
girls. The little
you know,
girls.
I'm isolated
Right.
instead of look at your traits and look at your traits
Right.
and look at my traits, sweetheart. We don't necessarily have to fight for his attention.
Exactly.
With all the knowledge that we have, we can build on our own.
Exactly.
But they
I
aren't to
agree.
that. But again, we're talking about a mentality, and it gets to a point where you like when you have to stop protecting just yours,
Right.
and say, what about there's
Right.
another sister over there too. Why am I afraid of her? And if she grows, and it's going back and forth. It's
Right.
like, well, how much can I give to her? You know, in reference to just my personality, because I don't know how real she is.
And even the TV show. Go ahead.
Now, I'm saying, if you look at the dynamics of a female relationship, because I ask my wife all the time why she don't have as many female friends as I have male friends,
Right.
and it's because they take things so personal. Like if someone doesn't call you in a month, oh, we ain't friends no more. She ain't calling.
And
me.
but I think that is totally media. The media tells us you can replace your friend. In the music, I get somebody else. I'll start over tomorrow. And so many of the sitcoms now are about girlfriends starting over. It's trendy to be divorced. It's trendy to be ununified. It's trendy to start over. I got this. So all of that is children. And I think, you know, if I'm wealthy and I'm a ruler and I want people to stay poor, you want them to not grow up. You
Right.
want them to not think like a mature, responsible, building adult. And the way you do that is you program them. And so when you make it trendy to walking around in the pocketbooks and have, you know, I work in the settlement field at the law firm. And honestly, I probably get a call or two a month from black men. And when they call, they are despondent, feeling like they're in bad debt. The average black man that feels like he's in bad debt got about $3,000 or $5,000. And he's like, yeah, man, I done ruined my family.
Mm-hmm.
The women that are calling me, trying to keep up with this, are averaging 30 to 50 and above.
Right.
And revolving debt alone.
Right.
And so it's a mindset that I feel 89, 90% of all commercials are geared towards making women feel insecure. You're not tall enough. You're not short enough. You're too thick. You're too small. So when you create that mindset, and they walk it out, you've also created a culture. So, but when grown women, like a Michelle Obama says, let's go to Target, it's like, what? That's not part of the plan. That's not part of the program.
Right.
Grown women coming to build. And I think little girls simply, the only thing about today, because they hanging with little boys, and little boys are thinking about what we gonna do tonight, like little kids. Grown men are like, why are we wasting that money? Why are we doing, you know?
So if there's a male shortage, then like you said, then there's a deficiency for these women because there's no men, and so that's the competition with women as well. It's like when I was working in Morgan years ago, the freshman class that came in had a class of 2,400. There was 500 that were male, the rest were female. And we're talking about in a professional environment. We're just talking about a freshman class at one university. Can you imagine what that looks like throughout the rest of this country? And we're talking about an African American, university with 500
you would think
men.
that would encourage them to be more together than they are. Like I said, I don't know if it's a hormonal thing, really, because to be quite honest, as a man, I can't understand. Like, I cannot talk to you for a month and I'm okay, as long as we didn't have bad words the last time we spoke.
Right.
Or you didn't come through when I needed you to.
Right.
As long as I didn't talk to you in a month, there's nothing wrong with that. He's been busy.
Right.
He must have had some things going on. I'm glad he kept them from me.
Right.
I don't know if I could have helped him right now.
Right.
And then he calls me and it's like, what's up? And we can go right into how we were. But
Right.
women seem to don't be able to do that.
Yeah.
They can't just, let things be. It's hormonal, I think.
But when it's 7-1, if I'm a woman, I'm thinking if it's 7-1 and there's so many of us, if number one, if the environment tells me you can replace them, people are easy to replace, relationships are easy to replace. But if the numbers look like I can easily replace you, I mean, the men, if you don't have a lot of men, if you have 500 guys in your
500
class
guys.
and it's 2,400, that's 9-1.
Yes.
You limited on relationships to begin
Yes,
with. But if
yes.
you got 9 other women and you realize people are replaceable, and that's your mindset. I'm not saying it's true, and I don't agree with that at all.
Right.
But when you think that, and that's in the back of your head, you don't value the relationships as much. I know girls all the time who are supposed to be sharp, who say, "Oh, I haven't talked to my girlfriend in 2 months."
Yeah.
It's almost flipped. It's almost like the women don't talk to their female friends,
Right.
and the men are trying to stay close and communicating. So
Right.
I just think a lot of that is the media really twisting a lot of the family structure. I think it profits America for us to be single. It's not beneficial. It does not help the market. When people are married, you do not, it's not as much disposable income. You don't feel as insecure to buy flashy outfits. You don't spend as much money in the market. But as everybody's single, they say single people spend, what, 60 or 70% of their disposable income in the market. Marrieds are like 30%. Like, if the game flips.
But when we put those numbers, though, let's put that on, and we're going back to women and the hunt for men. You know, the women want that shiny band and the wedding.
Sure.
They don't want the marriage.
Right.
They want the wedding.
No.
You know.
Right.
I know.
Right.
Okay? And this is not a slight
Right.
on where
Right.
we've
I'm
been.
saying,
And but I'm just saying that is a, so that the percentages of that 9 to 1, they still want that marriage. Right?
Because marriage is security to them.
It is. It
Even
is.
if it ain't real.
Yeah.
So that's a fight in itself of like, here comes gorgeous Greg and handsome Hernandez. And it's like, well, I got to get him.
Right.
But in the workplace. And you might find that one of those guys, like when we went to college, it was 1 out of every 3 may make it through. It's probably 1 out of every 5 that actually walk across the stage now. So if you have a lot of these professional women looking for that one professional male, the one that fits into that genre of this is the image that I now represent, and I need this type of male that fits this persona that I'm going in. Well, when you go into the workplace, you might find 3 of him and 15 women. And they're all
After him.
seeking,
That's what I'm
seeking
saying,
to
that
get his
cookie.
attention. Right,
That
the
one
cookie.
Right,
Yeah, and
right.
well,
So then we're talking about standards in reference to women and what type of standards of man that they're looking for.
And
That's
that-
competition.
And like you said, that's because of the lack of black men.
Right.
And so the challenge, I think, for women is to maybe look outside their race
Yes.
to keep them from fighting over the few that are left in their race.
or reward
To
men
date.
for being men. Don't have a baby with a cat that's a baby.
Right.
Right.
You just rewarded this cat. So any real man coming in, you made it hard for the cats with character. So when you keep rewarding weak charactered men for being weak charactered men, you just get more weak charactered men. When you got the weakest guy in your neighborhood with 6 babies, now you just made 6 more weak men.
But that's because they dropped their standards.
Right.
Because
Right.
they can't find but one good guy in the neighborhood.
But
and he
I
got
don't-
3 or
but
4
I
of
think
them
it's all
hanging
subliminal,
off
man.
of his shoulder.
I think it's all subliminal to say we can't find them. A lot of that is, you know, I was at an event where I seen all the black women dancing. It was the wildest thing I ever saw. And they had made a pact. It was about 50. These sisters were gorgeous. They said any song that comes on derogatory or defaming the women, we're gonna leave the dance floor. I mean, they were gorgeous. I seen them leave it like 6 times. And so the men went up to the, because I'm just saying,
DJ.
women rule. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say.
Yes, they did.
When the men went to the DJ, say,
don't know
look,
the power
listen,
they
Slick, I'm
had.
trying to get my dance on. You know, so they changed the dynamic of the room. So again,
But-
if you got some women in the workplace and they ain't talked to you for 2 years and they worked there in a year, that's not a woman. That's a little girl.
Right.
Women don't do that. Grown women don't do that.
Right, but like we just said, women have the power.
Totally.
If they only knew.
Totally.
If they only knew, and half of them don't know the power that they possess. And they use that power to push each other away and beat each
Right.
other down. And that's the sad part.
Right.
You
But
know?
why is the question? Why?
well,
They-
and
When
that's
if they
where we are.
unify,
There's
like
so
you
many
said,
different
and said,
things.
let's get out this tight, and we not calling any of these dudes back until X, Y, and Z. You would change, the music would change.
It would.
The sales would change. The same women are the ones who buying all of the music of the guys that's
That's right.
defaming
Women,
them,
we all
saying,
know.
let me urinate in
Yeah.
your hair. It's
Yeah.
the women.
Right. Women have the finances, and women purchase the music. Men don't buy music.
No.
Women buy the music. Okay. Women can control the music industry, the clothing district, everything. Women have the
They power. Then they say, well, we buying this and we going to how men think. No, look, that's how the little boys think.
Right.
The media has set that up so the little boys can try to lead us now.
Right.
Grown men don't think like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you want to know how grown men don't think, don't buy that album.
Right.
Go hang with some grown men. I'm like, when you hear this guy to say, let's hang out tonight, first verse, first song is, I met this chick, next song is, I got a whole new chick, and that. Turn that off. That's
Right.
not, if you want to know how men think, that ain't the cat. And so, but I think, again, grown women help the younger women. I just think right now, it's not in style to be a grown woman.
Yeah.
I just think
I think you're
it's
right.
trendy to be immature. I think it's trendy to be a little girl, had the little bag hanging off your thing on the bus with no future plan. The boy you dating has no real goal for himself. I think it's trendy. I think it's trendy to have a 2 master's degree and dating a dude that can't hold down a job. I think that's trendy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You see it in the
unfortunately,
television program.
Period.
And everything.
rappers, how many rappers with no character are bragging about specifically looking for a leader in church?
Right. Right.
I mean, the cat is
Right.
bragging about it. And I'm like, if you turn it off and ignore this dude, he will immediately change what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Cause this, all I'm just saying.
Yeah, they got that.
Yeah.
That's-
So
You ain't
where do
lying.
we stand in reference to being a part of the battle that women are going through with themselves? What about men? Where do we stand?
We need to
are we
reward the
charged
women,
as well?
grown women. We need to reward the grown men. I think married couples need to bring grown women over, maybe for date night, come over and just reward her and encourage her. I think the weak character girls, the men can help flip it by saying, I'm not going out with you. In terms of, now unfortunately we got a lot of the weak character men are the ones rewarding them. Let me take you out. But I think the men who are going to work all the time and you working real hard, if a girl comes in as a little girl, she is always a victim. It's never her fault. Everything in her life is the house, nothing is, cut her. Don't call that chick back. The one that's taking responsibility, that's working hard, that's the one you need to be calling back. And then you change how the rest of these women are thinking. So I think just like the women got the power, I'm just saying.
Believe it or not, though, we control
how they think.
how they're thinking. So
We set the tone.
they're looking to us to
Well,
lead
they're looking
them.
for us to cover them.
And
You
we
know,
lead
'cause-
them.
yeah, because women.
And we lead them into nothing.
Yeah, we are.
Nothing.
We are. And
So
like we just
fighting each
said,
other.
you got these women, like you said, now you have the one who's worked herself into a frenzy. She has this master's degree. She has all the paperwork, but she comes to a point where there's still some mental illness where she will still choose knucklehead, give him the car, let him live in the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
But that's not a woman.
But she thinks she can change
right.
it. But
And she's not a woman, though.
But she didn't spend time in becoming a woman. She
Right.
just spent time in to become
going to
a
class.
professional.
Right. You became, right.
her
Being
status.
a professional.
Right.
And I tell people, it's nothing impressive about buying a car. A car can't reject you. It's nothing impressive about getting a job. It's America.
Right.
90% of the world can't find jobs. It's America. America is so established at this point. In some Indian cultures, when that culture starts, the men dominate when they build a new culture. Once it's established, the women dominate because now you got to nurture it. It's established already. It's been built. America is an established nation. So now the workplace mostly just needs to be nurtured. So the women gonna dominate, fine. But a lot of them aren't women. So they think because I got a good job and a nice car, I'm grown. You're not a woman.
No, well, like we said, it's the status.
You're
that's
thinking
all.
you're
It's
not a woman.
it's
Go
not-
sit down somewhere.
It's some deficiencies.
I agree.
It's major deficiencies.
Because little girls do little girl things.
You know, but you have young girls having girls now, and we're talking about that. You got a 13-year-old and 14-year-old, and they're having little girls, and so she hasn't even grown yet, but now she has to raise a little girl. So by the time she's 35, she has a 15-year-old girl.
That's crazy.
Right.
You know, and we're talking about so where did this woman get
And
her
they
nurturing from?
call each other their BFFs.
Yeah.
And they're
How's your
fine.
daughter your BFF?
Right.
You're not a woman. Don't know.
And what I see too with women is they're fine up until it's time to become that woman. Because they, as
That's
kids,
the work.
they are, friendly with each other, and
Right.
they can go back and forth from I don't like her to I like her.
Right.
But they stick tight all the way, even through college, I think. But once they are on their own, all of a sudden the dynamics change between women.
Right.
And they're not as close. A lot of it is because of jealousy. Or you may have, like with my wife, I know I saw it. Her best friends kind of backed off when she started dating me and got engaged. Because to them it was like, oh, you gonna get married?
Because you're calling the room higher. I mean, to me, it's no different from Cain and Abel. I think in any situation in life, either you imitate the person that's there, you start asking them for advice, or you got to murder him. I mean, I was in middle school, and the cat had his homework done, and he had all his work done, and the girl started notice him. I either had to ask him a question, I didn't want to, so I started joking him. I murdered him. I started slandering the cat, and I tore him down because either I got to change and grow, or I could just kill his example.
Right.
After a while, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I need to imitate this guy. But I feel like that's that Cain and Abel thinking, like, if I hang with her, now I got to examine my life. I got to examine how I treat other men.
Yeah,
I got to
exactly.
examine how I date. I got to examine everything because this is a man. So
Yeah.
now I got to look. Nah,
Yeah.
girl, don't call me back.
Right,
use
right,
my.
right.
Now they arguing about tissues, and it really wasn't about tissues.
tissue. It's
I
about
don't want to look
the
at
fact
myself.
that you've moved on and
Right.
grown,
Right.
and I'm stuck.
Right.
Now
And
I'm stuck.
and I should have
I
got.
agree with
I want that, but you got it.
Right.
I wasn't first.
Right.
you've actually shown how it's done, but I don't want to learn. And like
No.
you said, now I have to change my dynamics
Right.
of who I am if I want to be involved in your relationship with him. See, girl, I need you to hang out with me so we can shine out in the club together or wherever we are together. So
But
we can pretend that we're
like
meeting them.
Chris Rock said, why is it that as a male I can see you with your wife or your fiance, and I'm not married and I don't have a stable relationship, and I'll look at you and go, man, I'm gonna get there one day.
Mm-hmm.
I am striving to be like you.
Right.
Where a woman is, I'm not striving to be. I'm
I
gonna
want
be you.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna
I
take
want what you
got.
have. That's right.
Instead of
Mm-hmm.
striving to get what she has on their own,
Right.
I'm gonna take your man.
Yeah.
Since he's so good.
Right. Not like, hey, girl, does he have any friends? I like him.
Right.
Does he have any
Who does he
brothers?
hang with?
I like
What
him.
kind of
Right.
character
That's
is
right.
he?
Because I
Because
like
if he
his
leaving you
character.
for her, that ain't a man.
Right.
Like
That ain't a
again, we
man.
back to the
Right, right.
You got a little boy, so if he's willing to do that, you don't have a man, or you helped erode his character. So why would you want this cat anyway?
But what kind of friend are you to take? I've always told my wife, there's always an unwritten rule. You don't date
No,
your man's girl.
Right.
no,
You just don't do it. It's just
no.
that unwritten
At any
rule.
point in life,
We just don't do it. But women have no problem with it at all. They're best friends. They're boyfriend's best friend.
and then the challenge, because Cain and Abel. If I take him, I'm not gonna keep him. By the way. Because then I can prove he's no good. Now I can stay comfortable with my life.
That's a good point.
Right.
And so,
Right.
but if I go after him and I don't get him, now I'm never gonna call either one of y'all, because it's just harder work. Because the media tells me just stay pretty, stay fine, stay sexy. It has nothing. It tells me the media tells the men you are rewarded if you work on your character. You could have the biggest head in one eye, but if you work on your character, you'll have a Benz and a house, and so you can be ugly and you'll get everybody. So the media rewards the men for that. They don't reward women for having good character. I need you to be half naked. I need you to be this. I need you to be like you got butter on your skin. And so that kind of thing, when you do that to women, you almost subliminally, you ruin them. You told them if you have character, you're going to be alone. That's terrifying.
And
So
the women asked, well, why did he leave me for that girl?
Right.
Shane is cute. Shane is that and the other. I said, because she was more compatible. She did more for him.
Right.
You just pretty.
Right,
Right.
You're empty inside.
Yeah.
right.
But you don't have nothing on the inside. So he wants you to walk around with to show off.
Yeah.
But he really likes being with
Right.
her
Right.
because they get along.
Right.
But she ain't she ain't, she's a size 14 or 12. She ain't a size 2.
Yeah.
So I can't really bring around the boys without guys hitting me like, man,
You know.
what you doing?
And that's
big
why
girl?
we
point.
got to
Yeah,
reward
yes.
the women with good character and just say, listen, baby, I'm not gonna bang this girl over here, but we're gonna get a manicure and a pedicure this weekend, and we're gonna get with that Revlon, or we're gonna work on becoming you more appealing to me. You know what I mean? Because it's great. Because often the women, I think, go to two extremes. If they got great character, they're not appealing. I think there's shallow interest, and then there's interest of depth. I think sometimes women feel like because I have character, I don't need to be appealing. I'm like, come on now.
right.
The Bible says a man must desire his wife. Every woman know when a man don't desire him.
Right.
Exactly.
So maybe you also, that's the two extremes. The women that have the good character feel like it's shallow or weak to be appealing. It's like, well, you too got to be humble now.
That's right.
And maybe you need to ask the girl that's a little more appealing. And maybe y'all can help each other.
Yes.
You know, maybe you can help her have more substance, and she can help you be a little more appealing
Yeah,
or a
you
little
can put
more
on makeup every now and
Yeah.
then. You don't have to be
Put some
natural
smell
all the
good.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
All the time natural. Put on some lipstick every
Yeah.
now and then. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No. But,
You know.
but we're visual. Very
Exactly.
visual aids. And
Yeah,
women
exactly.
understand that. We're visual aids. I had a buddy of mine, and we're just talking about characters and women. He was married to his career, but he met this woman. She was in the career as well, and this was a guy you say, well, this cat's never getting married. He met this woman, fell in love with her. She was jealous of his male friend's relationship with him. So and for me, we lived in different states. So I would come just to hang out with them and sit with them because we're boys, you know. And she even was so spiteful of his relationship with his male friends that she even told him that I slept with her one night in the house with them while he was someplace else in the house.
Hold on.
Okay? Yeah.
All right, so you
Yeah,
said
Yeah.
she slept with one of his friends.
She told him that I slept with
One of his friends.
No, I'm sorry. Let's go back.
Basically, he told him that
She
one of your
told him,
friends slept with me
I slept with
to
your
end
boy.
that relationship.
Yeah, your boy Dre and we slept together.
We had sex.
Yeah.
Oh, we was banging bellies.
Yeah. Yeah.
To make sure
To
that
me-
that relationship
yeah,
is
when
ended.
they were on outs.
Again,
Instead of to build it
that
up.
is not
you
a
know,
woman.
She hit him.
I
but
think
yeah,
men
and
gotta
me and your boy Dre,
understand-
when you weren't even wherever you were. You know what? I slept with
No,
him.
black men have to work on that. That's
she-
crazy.
Yes,
That's crazy.
That's what she told him.
We got to work on our character to make money in the market.
Yeah.
Period. To do it right. I tell people what's hard as a man. I said a responsible black man is hard. To walk past all the knuckleheads that's fighting and acting a fool, get to class on time, do your homework, that's just hard. To be faithful to your wife is hard. So this dude is really hard. Like that dude is soft. So in my opinion, she is in no way a grown woman. The media, the professional field does not require that black women have character to get in the professional field.
And
The country
was
is
there.
established.
She was there.
All you need is the environment in the workplace right now just to be nurtured. So it's almost like indentured slaves.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have character to be a slave.
No.
And so women think now because I got a long check and a nice car and I got these things in America that I'm a grown. You're not a woman.
but it
That's
needs
not
to,
a
it needs-
woman.
and in that, it needs to fit into her box.
Yeah, she's bugging. That's not a
Okay,
woman.
and it didn't fit into her
at
box
all.
because I have him. Now he needs to be isolated and dedicated just to me. You know, we're talking about a woman who didn't have those personal relationships of her own. It wasn't like there were a bunch of strong female friends around her. Just she and her mama. That was it. She didn't have her girl, her cousins, you know how, and like we have, you know, your brothers and your boys, how
terrible.
we can get together. She didn't have that. And for him to still have that type of relationship with cats, and you know, in the entertainment business, you know, we're talking about somebody who's making big money. And only friends that he had were his true friends that were there when he didn't have anything.
Right.
And you can't take that. So she could see, wow, this man that I love, he really has a serious bond with these guys.
But I guess for me, the question I ask my wife all the time is, why can't you girls have that bond of understanding? Because I think as men, me and Drea talk all the time about our relationships. If we, like, man, I don't understand why, you know, if I do this, she gets upset. And we try to bounce
Accountability.
Right.
ideas off of why you think
yeah.
they're doing that. And you know, we actually discuss
Right.
what you
Right.
know, how to be better men
Right.
to our women.
Of course.
But
Right.
women don't have that discussion. Like,
Right.
they don't talk about, girl, he's, you know, what can I do to be a better wife to this
Right.
man? It's always a complaint.
But we created that.
Or they
Again,
create this
we created the
facade that
meter.
everything's great.
Right. That was a time in history when it was in style to go to your elders as women and get advice.
Right.
When the media made that in style, that's what the women did. They nurture whatever exists. Now we made it in style to not do that. To be your own person. I don't need no man. I don't need nobody.
Right.
I don't believe in accountability. I don't believe in unity. I can replace anybody. We help create that environment. And so now we got these women that with all this little girlness who think that that's strength, but not accountability is strength.
Right.
Making yourself naked and allowing yourself to be judged by your peers
No,
to
no.
call you high is grown.
No.
Yeah.
You see, because now then nothing's pure. Like you said, if these women are buying friendships. You know, they're buying them. It could either be with just their status or whatever the case may be. But if they're steady buying them every year and replacing them, okay, that relationship with her is done. I need to go out and buy a new friend. And that's just a cycle
Right.
that has to be broken. Like you said, when it gets to a point, is she grown enough to say, I need to stop buying
Right.
my friendships?
And we can change it. Barack Obama, certain people are changing that environment, showing that I ain't nothing without a strong woman and redefining what a woman is.
doubt.
Like this, I would not be president without this woman. She was my mentor. She coached me on how to have great speeches. She coached me on how to talk to the public. Right. She had me to move in her mother's house to run for governor. So that's how grown women think. So I just think, again, as we continue to reward grown women.
What's missing is she don't have a girlfriend.
Right.
And she may. But
Right.
we don't see her.
Well, and if she does, she can't be the queen of the.
They
She
gay.
can't.
Right,
Because
right,
that's how they did Oprah.
right,
Oprah
right.
had a homegirl.
Right.
That's
Well,
down
she
with
has
her,
women.
and they're gay.
Right.
How,
They
you
have
look,
to
look
be.
at how Gail they edify each other. Oh, they're gay.
Okay.
So when women
that's how
edify
they
one
are.
another, they're gay.
So here's
They're
the one
weird.
though. So do women know how to love
I think
Each other?
each other?
I don't know.
No, based on
I
what the
don't
Bible deems as love, or what the most 97% of this country claims to be Christians, based on the premise of what love is in principle, no. Based on love what is and what we created love to be in terms of the media and music, yeah, they do that really well. But that ain't love. That's some twisted nonsense.
Okay.
So I would answer you and say no. They don't know how to love.
To, you know, do they know how to love one another?
Right.
It's very important. You know, women need to learn how to love.
No question. Or else, you know, you're getting what you're getting, and that is that half-hearted. I'm happy for her, but it's a it's that, you know.
Are women better when you leave the environment? This is to me a sign of a grown woman. When you go into an environment that they into the workplace, and when that woman leaves, the place falls apart. You are not a great woman, because that means you made everybody consume themselves with you. But when you leave and there's 4 or 5 people arguing for your spot because you have poured yourself out into other women, that is a grown woman. That means she imparted herself into these other women. So a lot of times when you're in these workplaces, those aren't women.
No.
So I
They
agree
haven't
with you.
matured.
Yeah, so a lot of the talks about, you know, why do women do, I'm like, let's get it clear. They ain't women. That's why they do that. Because grown women, Michelle Obama, Gail and Oprah, as much as all the media showed them fighting, I never seen one tweet where they said, yeah, they right, she ain't nothing.
Right.
But it's just interesting.
Oh, they gay, yeah, we gay, so what?
That if 2 girls are really close, they have to be gay.
Of course they're gay.
They're gay.
They're getting
There's
account, they're asking each other for
there's no way
advice.
2
They gotta
black
be
women
gay.
that are professionals
Right.
can be that close.
Because I've convinced y'all that that's not grown.
Now,
Right.
That's
now
not
there
grown.
are some women who, and I love to see them, that are just, you can see they just exude love.
Right.
They have girlfriends.
Right.
They have good friends.
Right.
They have professional friends.
Right.
You know, and they take care of their man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I love to see women who, and every year they have a certain that they get together with their female friends. I mean, we're talking about friends that they've known for the last 20 years and such and such. And but then there are some women who think that's foreign.
Right.
You know.
Or some women got thief partners. You know what I mean? We've been together for 13 years and we shady together.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all don't even like y'all even
no
work.
question about it.
Y'all got a
No
cat
question
den.
about
Like
it.
y'all not even. And I tell those women,
Yeah.
you know, y'all not friends with each other, right?
Right.
I'm like, you
They
not.
holding the secrets.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you
I know
become
where
like
the bones
those.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a real friend. I'm like, I understand holding the mistakes of your past, but when they are still making catty decisions currently, I mean, I don't want to get too religious, but Proverbs 29 says, if you build a relationship with somebody with an ill character, and it is a thief, and they consistently give you their shadiness, it says, and you hold it and disclose it, you hate yourself.
Yeah.
You hate yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta
And
release
so a
that.
lot of these women like, oh, we got good girl. Y'all got so much self-hate for one another to call y'all girlfriends. It's like this girl, oh, he's cheating on his husband. I keep that to myself. Y'all not friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Real friends would be like, yo, you need to change that or I'm out.
Right.
Right.
That's like the best man.
Yeah.
You know your boy. I'm the best man.
Right.
And now I see my man doing dirty. I vowed to be his best man.
Right.
I need to let him know that
Right.
I'm gonna let his wife know.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
That,
And that's
Right.
what it
Like,
says.
this
It said in the
Right.
verse.
This
It
is done.
says the world may call. It says the world may look on you because you bring the light to it, but God will look on you and smile.
Right.
It's because grown men ain't scared of the light.
Right.
Again, grown women ain't either. When you see a young girl that's trying to get help, reaching out to the parent, trying to involve the community to be a better mate to the man.
Right.
It's the same, and you see her on her workplace, going to her bosses, asking for evaluation, that genuinely loves accountability across. That's a
Right.
grown woman in the making.
Right.
You see a girl that dreads accountability on any level, but can't wait to share what's going on in her heart with you. Man,
Right.
please. And they gonna keep making. And so I don't think they can be friends. How can you not be catty when you got that kind of character?
Yeah.
How?
I agree.
I don't know, man.
Hey.
How can you not be shady? How can you have girlfriends at all like that?
They don't.
Yeah. Well, some of them don't. That's
They
what
got
we're
running
talking about.
partners.
Some
like
of them
you
don't.
said.
Right.
Well, when I do see the togetherness, and it's still out here because my cousin is in a sorority. Sorority girls try to stick together, but they still don't like each other. Compared to the fraternity guys,
Yeah.
who still keep a decent
Right.
relationship half the time, because if that guy's not like you, you don't deal with him every day.
Right.
You deal with him in the environment you can deal with him.
Right.
in.
Right.
Whether it's we stepping that's my man.
Right.
But
Right. You
when
my
it
man
comes to
with the
love
song,
and
that
life,
song?
I can't talk to that dude.
We don't dance on the
Me,
same
me and that
same
dude
tune.
can't talk about love and relationships,
Right.
but we sure can talk about the Ravens.
Right. Right.
You know, we sure can talk about our step moves, and we cool with putting them people in those categories.
Right.
Where women aren't able, I think,
They're
for
not
whatever
really wired
reason,
for that, though, are
to
they?
say
Ah.
that's my girlfriend when it comes to
Right.
this, and this is my girlfriend when it comes to that. It's they all try to do everything together, and when it doesn't work out, I can't stand that bitch. But that's your sorority. Yeah, I'll go out with her, but I can't stand her ass. I wish she wasn't here.
Right. Right.
But I'm gonna be there with her.
Right.
And that's their mentality with each other.
Yeah.
And they together, but they hating on each other. They fume at the clubs. They can't
Again, it
stand
goes
her
to that
getting
accountability.
shine.
That's terrible.
Right.
Don't
It
let
goes
her date a guy who has money.
Right.
Why? How she get him?
Right.
Does he know all the dirt I know on her?
Right. Right.
She don't. You know, it's the
They little girls, man.
cattiness, man. Like, really? Why are you so angry?
They little girls.
I don't
Grown
understand.
women are thinking about, they hanging with dudes who trying to pay off debt. That's what grown women are trying to do. Grown women are hanging with dudes that's thinking about tomorrow.
Right.
Little girls are hanging with dudes that's thinking about today. I'm trying to get that paper today.
Right.
That's what little girls hanging with. And so again, who you talking about
It's girls.
is
It's
girls.
right.
They not grown women. No, they not. You see a woman 42 years old looking for a little boy with nothing
Right.
at 21? That is a grown girl.
Right.
Disgusting.
I was
Who-
about to say, so
with-
what do we call
with
the
gray hair on
50-year-old, the 50-year-old woman? Stop what you about to say. The 50-year-old woman
She not
who's
a-
still bitter. Like you said, she's still a grown girl. Is that the definition?
She's
of
a
what we call
grown
Okay.
girl.
Okay.
What is the
She's bitter now, though.
What's the poem that says all of us will grow old, but few of us will have the privilege of growing up? And the media does not want women to be mature, to ever grow up. That is not what you can't. How you gonna sell Revlon if all of these women love themselves? How you going? I gotta make you insecure.
Right.
That's the whole purpose of sales. I gotta make you question yourself. If I gotta make you, and half of the styles that they got on there, the men don't even want.
Right.
My boy said, I think most of the media is governed by gay men because we don't want these hungry girls with the thin eyebrows.
No.
And yeah, so half it, I'm like, who picked this? Who picked her to be pretty?
Yeah.
Because we want some. Most of us want something a little jiggling, just a little,
Right.
with a little shaking.
Black man.
Right. Yeah, right. See, what we're talking about,
Black
different type
man.
of commercials.
You see what I'm
we're
saying?
talking
Different commercial.
Right. We're
Yeah,
talking
it's
about
a different
different
commercial.
ballgame.
And like you said, it's different between the white women and how they deal with each other, and then how black women and how they deal with each other. And I believe that still, like I said in the beginning, goes back to slavery.
Right.
Okay.
Slavery has to be in the equation.
Right.
Because I think, and that's what us as a whole, as a people, African Americans, because we act different than Africans.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
You
Yeah.
see,
Right.
we act different than them, and we come from them. So why we
Sure.
act so much different than them? Because we had a trauma in our life and in our development that's changing how we treat each other. And that trauma was major. That was a major trauma. Slavery. We were enslaved as a people.
Right.
And then said, all right, now go on and, live your life.
Right.
After we've
But the
cut
women
and
can
destroyed
change
you.
that. The women can change that.
Well, yeah,
today.
they can.
They can change that.
But
to-
is
because
it-
they will stop
is it-
rewarding that nonsense.
Is it too heavy, though, for some black men to handle? Have you continued to meet that same scorned woman over and over and over, and you say, I've had enough of these black women. I'm going to get me a white woman
Well,
or
I
a
had
Hispanic
enough.
woman.
I had
mean,
enough
I mean,
of
I
victim
know
black
guys.
women. And I know.
guys.
Look, let me tell you. I had after my I had a relationship that ended, and so for about 2 years I dated every culture but black. I was in other countries. I was as soon as they open their mouth and they sound like they were, I was done. And it wasn't. And I ultimately came back, and one girl I dated, she was from Poland, but at the same time, a black woman walked across the street, and we both said, ah. And I said, what you doing? She said, she's gorgeous. I'm like, yeah. So she said, what's going on? I said, babe, I love black women. I'm sorry, I love black women. And she said, so what is the problem? I just said, I don't like victims.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's a beautiful thing. It was a time in the 50s and 60s when it was a noble thing to be a savior. When a woman wants you to come along and actually, because then there was accountability on how you treated the man that saved you. Now being a victim is a whole different game.
Whole different game.
Yeah, it
Nothing in my life is my fault. Everything is everybody else's fault. So now when you go save a victim, now you're a victim.
That's right.
And so when good guys go bad,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it happens.
It's
is.
a wrap.
It is.
now we
yes.
got a whole, because now he knows how to look the part,
Oh.
go to work, and now he's banging all of the victims.
But I think that
All
happened
of them.
to a lot of us. It happened to me. It happened to me.
I've been there.
Okay.
I've been there.
All right. I'm like, look, I'm tired of fighting with her. I'm tired of fighting.
I went from being celibate for 8 years to going off with about 30 women in about a 6-month period. And I was like, yo, this is eroding my I'm like,
Yeah.
and I couldn't believe how they were cool
But
with
it
it.
happened to
Doctors and
me, too.
lawyers. I said,
I was in school when that happened
said,
to
no,
me.
I can't. And I started emailing them and calling them. I said, no. Oh, I'm a grown woman. Well, maybe in your
Yeah.
world, but
Yeah, because
I got to pick somebody who don't want this.
It was very heavy for me because, like we were saying, I met so many young girls, even when I was in college, that were victims. And I met a lot of them who they were getting attached to you for the wrong reasons. And it got to a point where I was just like, you know what, I need to stay focused because these women are draining me emotionally. And I was celibate in college for 2.5 years, where I needed to stay away from women and focus on what it is I wanted to do with my life.
So you can tell the difference from the women and the
It
girls.
was because I was like, no,
Right.
you know, and I said, if it is meant to be, God will bring me somebody who will not take from me,
Exactly.
but give. And I did. I had to hide. And there were many nights I was like, I need to call one of these weak women,
Right.
but I couldn't.
Character
Right,
gone.
it was. I was drained.
So why are they fighting? I think because they little. That's what little kids do, because they think about today. So I agree with what you talk about building and all that stuff. I just think as grown and as men, I think you can reward that when you start staying in your own space, having those quiet times in your journal, doing a lot of reflection.
Right.
You start noticing victims early, and so when you start exposing victims, then they got a beef they forced to deal with themselves. And then when they run out of dudes to be a victim to, because a lot more guys are standing up, you just get a lot of.
So in turn, they shouldn't be upset with us about us dating outside the race. They should be upset with how they're acting. It's really on them to show, you know, that I'm gonna build you up mentality, because I think a lot of men do date outside the race because they don't have all the negative feelings that a black woman can bring to the table.
Right.
Not that I condone just giving up on your race. Like, I don't condone, I don't date but this type of woman, because I think if you fall in love, it should be whatever.
Right.
Yeah, like what you
that
like.
should be regulated to what color she is. If she matches you.
Right.
And don't wait till you get hurt to start dating outside the race and get angry. If you want to date, tell us when you got a good place. Like I started dating and I told everybody, "Are you mad because it hurt you?" Nah, some cats, and then you get the men who are victim. Oh, I dated white women because those black women ain't. Don't make no absolutes for black women. Don't make no absolutes for black women, partner. No, you had some bad experiences largely because that's your character. I dated a lot of victims because that's where I was.
Right.
When I stopped being a victim and I owned my choices and started taking that time to myself and worked on my, all of a sudden they started looking nasty. Like,
I don't want her.
like this happened to me and that. And so what's your plan? And that happened. And, oh, I'm sorry, babe. So what you going? What you mean? What I'm gonna do? I ain't calling you. All right, have a good day.
Yeah. Well, you attract the same type of energy
Exactly.
over and over and over, unless you change. If you don't change, that same energy just keeps harboring itself to you.
Right.
When you change, like you said, then the energy that comes to you, it's just like anything else. You're like, ugh.
Exactly.
What is that? That's nasty.
Exactly.
Ooh.
And when you don't reward them, now they forced in the workplace to go to the woman with character and say, sister, can you help me out with this area of my life? Can you help me out with this part of my career? Can you help me out with this part of my marriage? That's what I think.
Murph, you good, huh?
Perfect!
Okay.
I don't even know where I could begin to edit. A straight like bonus, a bonus, video.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
You hit every question. You covered it all.
I tried to remember. I tried to go back.
You did it.
Okay.
You did.
Yeah, I was trying to see
You
what
can't
Dre
do
was
it.
staring at.
Yeah.